none of what we said in the first 5 minutes should be in the show.
That's a bang up way to start this episode. Welcome to Wilder Minds, everybody.
All right.
Yikes.
Aye. We got probably short and sweet today. I know we all got a lot going on, ready and to head down to Ohio.
Yeah.
But probably start with blood on the ground, huh?
Blood on the ground. Yeah. It was Wes.
Yeah.
First archery buck, crossbow.
Yep.
In my mind, the old school way is, it's the vertical bow is your first true archery buck, but I mean, nowadays, it's the way you get the younger guys into it.
Heck yeah.
It was great. It was a cool hunt, man. Wind was perfect. And we went up, just our family property up in northern Michigan, about 40 minutes from here. And we snuck in, and within 15 minutes, there were deer everywhere. And they're chasing. I mean, this was Saturday, and this is 25th, so they were chasing like crazy.
Frisky.
Yep. It's cold. I mean, it's just good weather. It's 50s, low 50s, high 40s during the day, and one buck came out in the food plot within 15 minutes. A second buck cruised in front of us, and apparently this third buck came out of the swamp. We had no idea. I didn't see him at all. But they were all posturing, and it was kind of behind this autumn olive bush where they were all kind of doing everything. I couldn't see behind it, but it's only 40 yards away. And I was filming, and I could actually, because my eyes suck, you could see what was going on as I edited the episode.
Right, but you couldn't
see it live
real time
because I'm blind.
Yeah.
And so it turns out he was down there. The one was thrashing the autumn olive, and then we didn't even have the bow up because Wes wasn't going to shoot the smaller buck. He was a younger 8-point, and out of the autumn olive, this buck gained 100 pounds and grew 40 inches.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Where'd he come from?
You could hear it in your voice.
Yeah, you could hear
it in your voice. You're like, oh, shooter.
Yeah, I'm like
get
what?
Get your bow, because it was like, he popped up just the way he walked in.
Yeah, he walked in, and it was just crossbow sitting on the blind ground, and he picked it up, and we picked a window. I mean, I was going to cut a lot of these autumn olive down because that's our gun stand. Yeah. But I don't think I'm going to now, because it gives you the ability to move in these pockets and windows. So it got behind another big new autumn olive, and those things grow so fast.
Yeah, they grow. They're crazy.
So I swear I cut them last year.
And they love to beat the shit out of them.
They love to thrash them. Yeah. It's like the willow of the moose.
Yeah.
They love to just screw around with them. Yep. So he's come. I knew right where he was coming up this frickin' just the main trail to our right side. So he gets in the window, and I stop him, and he puts a good shot on him. It was a hair high, but we had good angle, and he ran 80 yards and just crashed right in the food plot. And shocking. We did not expect to do that. You know, I mean, it's just a good spot. I mean, we've killed a lot of gun bucks out of that blind, but we had never really archery hunted it at all.
Yeah.
But it was just a good wind, and we just wanted to see some deer and see. We hadn't been out there much, honestly, just once or twice, and it just worked out, man. And went up on him, and first thing I noticed is that is a giant animal.
Yeah, body
gigantic. That's the biggest. So we had a bunch of guys in camp. They'd hunted it for 20 years. The biggest bodied buck that we'd ever shot. Yeah. And it's probably 125-inch buck. Just a great deer for where we're at. But it's at least a 5-year-old buck.
Yeah.
And so field dressed 200 pounds. So you got to figure he's 240, 250. And where we're at, there's no ag. Like we're literally, it's ridges, it's swamp. Yep. The soil super oaks, soil super loamy, so you can't really, nothing really takes worth a damn. Mm-hmm. But man, it was just cool to. It's pretty ironic. That morning, I kind of gave the family a first look at sunrise. We sat and watched it in the morning, and so kind of full circle. And I guess people know what sunrise is at some point here soon. But it's just a story about just growing up in Michigan and hunting and having your sons be a part of it. Yep. And we just another chapter. But we hung that thing on the buck pole, I couldn't believe the size across the shoulders, across the butt. That was the biggest deer we've ever shot at that camp.
As soon as he stepped out on camera, when I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You could tell too when he was laying in the food plot and you guys walk up on him. It's like you can see that back end when that back end lays out and it's like this wide. You're like Iowa, Kansas looking corn-fed buck.
That's what it did.
It has that. He had that body to him. You know, and long, not necessarily like you get those Ohio
shorties.
They're shorties and they run the mountain ridges all the time. But that was there was definitely that was a big buck.
Yeah, no, and we're trying to figure out, what. And when we gutted him and caped and quartered, there was fat storage everywhere. Yeah. But we had
where's he getting it from?
Yeah, I think honestly, we had the best acorn drop I think we've ever had, and we haven't been able to see many deer over there even on camera because they've just been in the oaks and the flats just sucking up acorns. But now, they're chasing. They're not, as you know, they're not too worried about that as much. I don't know he didn't put on a 250-pound body
just eating acorns.
For acorns.
Yeah. There's genetics in there. There's everything there. Yeah,
he was superior.
He's a big deer.
Yeah, but it was cool, man. It was just a great story. I was happy for Wes. He was super excited, obviously, but he doesn't show too much emotion. He keeps it pretty tight.
He does that. When I was watching, it's like as you're replaying and you're in the blind, which we all do. Anytime you shoot, you go back and forth, and you're telling the story, and every time you'd stop, Wes go, yeah.
I know.
And you're like, he's awesome. And he's like, yeah. I didn't expect that. No. Like he's just so sure.
I have to lead him down the path because he hates even watching himself on camera. Yeah. So
him and Ryder couldn't be more opposite.
I was just thinking that. Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that's cool.
I didn't even. This is how little I didn't even expect to shoot anything. I had him mic'd up with the DJI. I had two of them. I could have put one on me. I didn't even think about it. Yeah. It happened so quick. Honestly, it was within a half hour. He had shot that buck. Yeah. So. Yeah, it was just, I had, for the post-production side, I had to pull off his mic and, it's just, but it's just one of those things. You go in there and we had, it was a nice story, but I'm just thinking it was literally like I had like 20 minutes of footage, of everything.
Yeah. We saw a hell of a lot in 20 minutes, though.
I know.
Just the way it all came together when I watched the story, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
You guys saw some
Came together great. And I'm excited to start dropping these episodes live, too, semi-live. So we can hopefully get that together and drop it here soon to the app today or tomorrow. Would be great.
Yeah. Talking about just in the blind and producing and stuff, and I don't know if you find this, but I find it a lot, especially when I'm with one of the boys, is like I'm worried about the production, but part of me is not because I want to be there for the hunt. Does that make sense?
100%.
I want to be present for the hunt, and so we have so much production stuff we focus on away from that.
Yep.
Then when I get in, I've got the camera and I've got the mic and everything, but I'm so focused on just being there with them.
Yeah.
That it's hard to find myself trying to do both like you normally would.
It's hard, man. Honestly, I kind of black out as to what I'm filming because you're doing two things at once. The filming is the automatic part.
Right.
I'm doing that, but I don't have to necessarily help the boys out. And you're in a different phase, with Gunner. You have to help him through. Yep. The boys are old enough now where they can just kind of do it.
Yep.
But for me, it's you're still communicating and you're still worried about them making a great shot. When you guys are hunting, you just film.
Yeah.
And when you have your kids that are learning, you got to do both. And I honestly, the production is probably, it falls so low on the totem pole. But as soon as it happens, I'm like, oh shit, okay, now I got to make a story out of this.
Now
I got good footage together. And I was hand holding the 70 to 200 and honestly, it looked pretty damn good, So,
and the bonus of that is, you have it. So to your point, you're trying to be in the moment, I'm sure, with the kid and everything else.
Yep.
But by filming it, you always can go back and you always have it and you always relive it. And what I love about filming the stuff that we've done over the years is we're frozen in time at whatever that was, at whatever. So at whatever age, you know, when we like 55 North, when we released that film, that fishing trip, they're all frozen in time at that exact age. They're never gonna. So you always go back and you watch that and you go, remember when they were that age? Remember when they were? So there's pros and cons to it because you know if you're in the moment, that's awesome and it's amazing. But if you film it while you're in the moment, then it's like, man, we got this forever. So it's a double-edged sword.
I mean, that's always, I think, kind of what's driven me in storytelling is just like, always have loved the thought that whatever we shoot, like it is frozen in time. Like we have that memory, but there's so many things like, you know, putting together this recent Sunrise film. I went back, I was searching through all the clips of when the boys were little. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I filmed that. I can't even remember filming that. And some of it was with like a phone, some of it was with like a little Kodak, you know, handheld, you know, HD camera back in the day almost before GoPros. You know, it's just a lot of that stuff, and so thankful you have it. You know, not necessarily for a production value, but just to have it, man.
Yeah, just as a father-son family.
Just to have it.
Family thing. Yeah. So it's, I mean, for me, it's when I'm with the boys, the production value is, you know, going to the stand. I'm always shooting stuff and trying to set it up. You know, when we're in the stand, I'll get the shots, but when there's deer in there, that's like the last thing is like, oh, I got to lay this down. You know, hold on. You know, it's too dark, or, you know, he's behind a tree. No, I mean, like, if you can shoot him, like, shoot him. I don't care.
Do your thing.
Yeah,
it's a little different.
Yeah, I guess that's for me, like, that's where it is. The value isn't what it normally would be coming out of me. But see, it's funny you say, like, the filming is the natural for you. It's the opposite for me. I go to guide mode. Like, because I've spent more time in guide mode than actually film mode probably. So I go immediately to guide mode. I'm paying attention to that, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to get this going. You know what I mean? So just different.
I've definitely, over the years, like, I screwed a hunt up for Gibson. I didn't screw it up because we ended up finding the buck, but I rushed him when we were in Ohio, and when he shot that that buck back, and that was all on me. Like, I totally rushed him. Because that buck was getting downwind, and I was filming, and it's like you're not like settled in and just focused on one thing. You're doing multiple things. And I said, and I stopped. We had a bunch of corn out, you know, for gun season. He was going to the corn, and he was going to sit there and eat it. But I hustled him to shoot, and he shot too fast, and. You know, and almost the same thing with last year with Wes's buck that we ended up finding. Like, I should have gotten one of those, you know, loopholed, you know, the loopholed grip that we put on. I have one, and I didn't put it in that blind because it was a short shot, and you could lean up against that grizzly and get a real good rest. I should have just done it, and I didn't. And he just, you know, just a little bit of bobble, and we found that buck later, but, you know, we didn't find him right away. So it's like, you think back and you learn about things, even as a dad, like, God, I should have just thought about that one extra step, but I was probably thinking about, okay, I got to bring this camera and this lens, and I got to bring my tripod. I don't want to bring two tripods, and it's all those things. When I should have just been focused on, okay, make sure he's got all his stuff and we're ready for the hunt. And if I can film it, I can film it. But that's not how I'm built, unfortunately.
Isn't it true, though, that like anytime you see a buck, I'm always like this. I think I've gotten better over years, but you see a buck, especially one that you're chasing, and you're like, I got to kill him now. Right? It's that whole, like, there he is, got to happen. I mean, and usually when you force it like that is when you screw up.
It's when you screw up.
It's when you sit back and you're like, well, he's going to do what he's going to do, and we'll just see how it goes. You know, like,
I think I was out, especially younger, like, I mean, now after seeing so many deer and understanding, it's a little different. Like I said, I'm getting better at it, but I was always like, you see the buck, and he's doing his thing, and you see him coming through the timber, and you immediately go, I'm going to rattle and grunt him over here.
Get him to me.
You know, I'm going to bring him right here to this tree. And so you're like, you know, you see this deer moving through the trees, and you're just like, burp, 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 and then you're like trying, and it's like, if you just, now it's like, I won't even reach for it unless he starts going it's like, what's he going to do? Let it happen. You know what I mean? Let it
read him for a hot second.
Chances are he's walking at me. I don't need to grunt at him to keep him walking at me. It's like, now I've just put him on alert. You know, so it's like, I've learned that over the years of just like so many that I've messed up because I either rattled too soon or I grunted at him when I should have just let it happen, and
Yeah.
then decided, oh, he's leaving, now I'm going to do this. And so
you learn, man.
But I was like, my first go-to is like, you see a buck and you're like, grab the rattling antlers, and I'm like, I'm going to bring him right here to this tree, and 9 times out of 10 you hit him and he stands there and looks like through, and he's like, I can't see the fight, now I'm leaving. And you're like, I think I just fucked that up. I think I just
And let's be honest, more times than not, it does not work.
Yeah.
I mean, grunting and even a bleat call or whatever, like, I would say 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work.
No.
But when you get that one that's in the mood, and it works, it's addicting. It's like, oh, wait a minute, this is cool.
Blind rattling is like, I will randomly blind rattle maybe once in the morning, like when after sunrise, you know, an hour in and I haven't seen anything, I'll rattle, sit down and go, okay, what's in the area, right? That's another. And then, but in the evening, I very rarely ever. Roll. I don't think I have. Now the other time is, you see a buck and he is in the distance and he is walking on a ridge and he's going a different direction, but he's far enough away. Like you catch him in the binos, he's 100, 200 yards through the timber or something like that. You smack those antlers together, chances are he's at least coming into 50. He's coming that direction, right? So that's a different story. But I'm talking, sometimes I've had him at 40 yards in the brush right behind me and I'm like, I'm going to get him, you know, and it's like, I just scared the shit out of him. Like, you know, younger, I was like, he's like, what the hell's that up there? You know, and then off he runs and I'm like, I wonder why he did that. And then later on, I'm like, well, yeah, okay. There wasn't a fight at 40 yards in front of him in the timber. And he was like, okay, I'm out of here, you know, but when you have the advantage of you can see them, but they can't see you, then it's like,
it's Jagger.
Then you can just,
it's that setup.
It is, it's Jaggers. Cause you know, they walk the bottom ridge and they can't see on top. So they got to come up. And when you have that advantage, then I think rattling is, and it is so exciting. There's nothing better than rattling.
Oh my God. I mean, I think 4 of the last 5 deer that I've killed, with my bow, I've either rattled or grunted them in. And it's just one of those things where if they're in the mood, they're gonna, and they don't always run right in. Right?
No.
A lot
they
of
show
times
up in
they'll take
a couple minutes and they're
time.
looking. You know,
they'll take their time, and a lot of times they'll walk away almost like a gobbler. They'll start thinking about it. Like, no, I think I'm gonna go check that out. You know, and a lot of it, even with gobblers, it's like volume is so important. Like, is the volume right? Are you reading the deer right? Are you reading the gobbler right? And a lot of that is you just got to read the animal and what's their attitude going to be like. And you know, if you blow them out of the, you know, if you do a buck roar and they're 60 yards and you know, it's like, where's the deer? You know, it's one of those things where, and we talked about Jagger previous episode, but it's just a setup like this where they can't really see where it's happening, whether it's heavy cover or whether you're on a ridge, on the backside of a ridge, and they're coming up. You know, that's the advantage that you have. And if you know that in a stand and you always have that advantage, chances are you're going to blind rattle, like you said, bucks in.
I think everybody, at least I do, has a cadence to the rattle. And I got a couple different ones that I roll with, just depending on the setup. But one of the ones I honestly think is the most effective is nothing but a quick crack. It's literally like 3 seconds, if that. It's just enough for them to go, huh, that sounded like somebody's fighting over there. You know what I mean? Not the actual fight itself. And over the years guiding, I can't tell you how many times in a blind I would see that over a full-fledged fight. Is, you know, they square up, and even if they don't snort wheeze, they square up, and one quick crack, and then they both pull back like, we don't really want to do this right now. You know, and I think that pisses them off more than anything. I go, the one deer I killed in Iowa, I killed a 163 in Iowa, and I was sitting in an inside corner standing cornfield. And I couldn't see the deer, but I could see the autumn olive at a 45 across the corner. And the top of the autumn olive was just shaking back and forth like crazy. So I knew there was a buck there beating the shit out of it. And I said, I'm going to reach down and I'm just going to crack these one time. And that's all. I literally reached down. I didn't even take them off the tree, off the hook. I smacked them together and I looked up and the olive stopped shaking. And I started seeing the tops of the corn move. And I'm like, oh boy, here he comes. You know, and that's literally all it took. And as he came through there and came around, he was just, I mean, looking like crazy. And I think he couldn't pinpoint it. He didn't know exactly where it came from. And it was just enough to like pique his interest.
I think it goes back to the volume thing. Like, if you give them volume for 60 seconds, they can really think about, okay, does that sound real? Where is that? But if you do just hammer them together quickly. They'll hear it, but then they're like, man, it's over.
I gotta check that
out. And like you said, how many times I can't. Maybe on one hand, I've seen knockdown, drag out fights.
Yeah.
Like maybe.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of,
quick lockups.
And they're out. The little buck takes off. The big buck's like, hell out of here, man. I'm going to kick your ass.
I can remember the first time, we were obviously as guides, we were working in the deer industry for a long time. And you want to learn deer, you live with 650 of them every single day walking around your yard. It's like that, you get to hear all the sounds. The first time I heard a real fight, I was like, that's not how I sound at all. Like, it's not even close. Because there's actually, like, even in a knockdown, drag out fight, they're not standing next to each other going, pop, pop, pop,
they're
pop,
feeling each other out. They're pushing.
It's more like pushing timber. It's more leaves. It's more. And so I will actually, like, I'll bang on the tree. Like, if I rattle, I will hit the tree that I'm in, and not like, it sounds like there's stuff moving versus like just sit there and take these, it's like, people will use the rattle bag. I understand, like, they have different forms, but like when you just sit there and rattle that bag back and forth, it does not sound like what a deer would sound
Never
like.
rattle the bucking with a bag.
And so real antlers, and to your point, quick and easy. And it's the same with like grunts and all the different sounds of like the different cadences of grunt, whether it's a tending grunt or what the short little bup, 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 like that, or if it's going to be a long roar. But again, it's like living with them and understanding it. Like, I would hear it and I'd be like, I've never heard that vocalization before. But then I would integrate it into hunting them, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's working, versus what I thought a grunt was. So it's like over time you get to the experience of seeing it all, and then you realize, like, do I sound like that? No. So I need to change to sound like that, because that's real. He just did it in front of me, But yeah, with rattling, it's more locked up, and a lot of times I will put them together and just barely like rub them versus like smack them and run. It's like you put them together and you hear that sound, and it's like you're slow with it, and then I'll bang on like a branch or a tree or something. Like, I'm getting pushed around more than get after it and just start making noise with antlers.
What I wish we could do, and this has killed more turkeys than calling, is scratching. The scratches in the leaves, because that's natural. I wish, and there's an old timer that had he would hang a branch from a string, and he'd set it up so there's a bunch of leaves at the base in my hometown, and he'd just pull the rope, and you could hear the leaves moving at the base of the tree, but he would rattle and then do that. If you could do that, or honestly,
I've seen guys put rattling antlers on a bow rope. And just hang them
and move them,
kind of like drop them, into the leaves. Kind of the same
thing
deal.
But it's like the Larry Wise zoom.
I've never had the balls to try it.
I know.
It just feels like, it probably sounds more realistic, but to me it feels weird.
I like the aesthetic of putting that bone in your hand and being able to manipulate and
I've had the same rattling antlers since 2004 or 5, like the same bone, and if I wouldn't even be able to guess the number that it's rattled in. I wouldn't even be able to, between all the guiding career plus. I wouldn't. We had that stand in Illinois when we had our farm down there, and that that one stand, did we call it 45 or something, like, or it was a number. But it was over 30 in one day. I never left this. It was the greatest day I ever had a hunt in my life, but it was over 30 different bucks. And it was like, what is happening?
Crazy.
I didn't even know we had that many deer on the entire acreage, let alone at that stand that day.
And that was CRP wrapped, right?
That was CRP wrapped. And it was just like, I sat there and I just couldn't believe every time I hit the antlers together, there was 2, 3, 4, and they're all different bucks. And then they would fight in front, because once you get them in front of you, then you just let it happen. Then they would fight, then another one would show up, then this one. And it was just like, it was unbelievable. But I couldn't imagine. Couldn't even begin to fathom.
I had a day at the school bus in Iowa, 21 in one morning. And the 21st was 172-inch slick 10, giant. Came to full draw, 12 yards. And the guy that was filming was on the backside of the tree, locked up, facing the other way. And he couldn't spin. And I was sitting there at full draw like, are you good? Are you ready? Are you good? Are you ready? Never heard anything from him. I'm like, oh my God. So I held a full draw. It had to have been 25, 30 seconds. And a coyote came out of the brush and
off he went.
Chased him off.
At Keefer Brothers, our mission is to pass on what the wild has taught us. Every single step into the wild tells a story, and we've spent years capturing those moments in the rawest way possible. So if you're not afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and you want to go further and live the kind of life that most people only talk about, be sure to visit KeeferBrothers.com. Whether you're there for the stories, the skills, or the connection, everything lives at KeeferBrothers.com and the all-new companion app.
Every shot counts. And when it's time to make it count, you want the best. Winchester Ammunition has built its legacy on a commitment to innovation by continuously pushing what's possible. In the heartland of America, the American legend crafts ammunition that's purpose-built, reliable, accurate, and ready to perform no matter how harsh the conditions. Whether you're hunting or shooting for sport, Winchester will be there.
All right, let's talk about beer for a second. You ever notice there's a big difference between Busch Light drinkers and other beer drinkers? I like to say we live on the wild side. You know, a guy with a Busch Light in his hand, he's a man of the people. He's out there in the wild every day. He's in the trenches smashing bushies with a smile on his face. You know why? Because he doesn't care. He's not looking for a soulmate. He just needs something to wash that damn jerky down. And he's got himself a 12-pack of Freedom in a can. And when that can gets cracked, it's like opening a door to a whole different world. It's just a vibe. And if you haven't felt it, you should. So go grab yourself a case of Bushies, give them a rip, and take a walk on the wild side. Wherever your adventure takes you, count on Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's to make it memorable. From the timberline to the campsites to the lake and the range, get your family outfitted with the right gear. With premium brands like Worldwide Sportsman, Ascend, Instinct, Redhead, and Natural Reflections, they've got the apparel and the gear to make it the best adventure ever. Stop by today for a one-of-a-kind shopping experience in-store or online at BassPro.com and Cabela's.com. See for yourself at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's stores. Your adventure starts here.
That was a bad day.
Yeah, those are the ones that you think, okay, how many deer have I not killed because of the camera?
Yeah, lots.
Oh my God.
Sneaky. I had big sneaky. I had him at 15 yards. Lee and I were in the tree that morning. He got shot that day.
Yeah.
And that morning he was in the field at Trifecta. He was standing underneath us. It was 100% big sneaky. I could see him with my bare eyes. I'm like, that's it. Pulled back, had the pin on him, and literally was cranked ISO, and he's like, I got nothing. Yeah. And I was like, well,
sorry, nowadays,
yeah. And he walked out and he was 170. It was a 172 or 173. He walked out to the south, and I promise you, he walked down over the hill, went right onto that, right on the neighbor was hunting on her line, and got shot. And then I hunted for 2 days after that for him. Never saw him. Not knowing.
Where you go?
Passed a deer with you. Yeah. Like 2 days later, I had another like hunter.
Was that Roy Hobbs? What was that?
Roy Hobbs. We had an old 9 that was underneath, and he was a hell of a deer.
Niner. Roy Hobbs,
number 9, and passed on him. Yeah. And then I got the picture from Tractor Supply. The neighbor had him down at Tractor Supply in Ohio, and Jared sent it to me, and he's like, I'm sorry. And I just looked at it, and I'm like, oh my.
He's such a cool buck, so much character.
Yeah.
The Sneaky family has eluded us for a long time because there's so many of them.
There's Junior.
There's Big Sneaky, Sneaky Junior. Now there's Sneaky 3 or Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky Pete. And I think so Rip is a descendant.
When I said Rip, I think during the Rip hunt, I was like, I'm hunting Big Sneaky Splits Junior. Like I just named him all of them because I was like, before I named him Rip, because I was like, he's definitely a descendant.
What's funny is
double splits.
That buck I shot last year in the blind, you thought that I shot Rip.
Yeah.
And because it had splits and it was just a different deer. Obviously it wasn't Rip.
Yeah.
But
I did have that deer. I had your deer like 2 days prior.
You're self-filming, right?
Yeah, I had that deer, and I went to full draw on that deer, but I was self-filming, and then Rip came out of the left corner. That's the first time I saw him.
That's right. Yeah.
And like I was literally at full draw on your buck, and I was like, I looked to my left, and I'm like, oh my! And I put down.
Yeah.
He walked off to Jagger, and that's when I had Rip for the very first time, and it became like
the story.
It became the start of this whatever. But when you shot that, 2 days earlier, I was at full draw, would have smoked him, and then Rip saved him by walking out.
Appreciate
right
that,
there.
Rip. I mean, look at that, how that story unfolded, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you were chasing Rip. You're going to shoot that buck. You didn't even know you were chasing Rip until that happened.
No, until I looked over to my left and saw, 160-inch deer standing there. I was like, nope.
And that's the thing that I'm excited about is we have a lot of those stories that are going to unfold here in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what the story is going to be yet, but one thing will happen that'll lead to another. You'll kill something that, I saw him. I mean, it's just that's why I love hunting the same farm.
Yeah.
Because you can all build every night. There's stories that build, and you figure more things out. And yeah, I mean, that's what I want to try to document this year is more of that everyday, on the ground storytelling.
Yeah.
The journals like we talked about.
Yeah.
Journals every day.
Yeah.
Let's just do them.
Yeah. Well, that's the good thing is, so for you guys that are listening, so right now Sunrise is a film that'll launch, and then after that we're in basically semi-live.
Yep.
So Weston shot on October 25th, and today's the 29th, and we're going to launch it this week. So within a week, we're trying to get these things out. Now, as we go, we're trying every 3 to 4 days to put out something on the app so you guys can follow along, and it's going to be all the stories like basically semi-live.
Yep.
As live as possible, basically. Yep. And it's going to be fun to see it unfold because the month of November is jam-packed.
Mm-hmm.
Jam-packed.
We won't be home basically till Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Cousin Cornelius and I got to get on the board.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
He airmailed a few. I airmailed one last year in Missouri.
You need to break.
We got to get on the board. It's been a while.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a good point. Airmailed, because the Hefe episode was going to be airmailed, but we can roll that all into one episode.
Airmails.
One story,
Yeah.
airmailed.
Yeah.
And it's yours.
Watch these idiots miss.
That just hit me.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next story we tell.
Watch these
After
idiots
Rip.
miss. Yep.
Yeah.
Airmail.
Airmailed.
Frustrating.
It happens, man.
Oh,
Jesus.
God, yeah, it happens.
It's
It ain't the
crazy.
first time I've done it, and definitely
It won't be the last,
time.
man.
So
won't be the last.
it is what it is. It's just, man, when it all comes together, and we'll save that morning for another, because that sit was just epic and awesome and beautiful and cool, and then I fucked it all up. So
Hey, that's the
good
stories, though. Good or bad, we're going to have them this year.
But
and
that's also why you do it.
that's why you
You
do
know
it.
what I mean?
it
It's
all.
like that whole thing goes down. I send one over top of that deer, and I'm like, I got to get back in the stand immediately.
Yeah.
Like it just, it's-
I airmailed Tiny to shoot Lone Star and then shot Tiny with a muzzleloader. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I airmailed so bad right behind me.
You airmailed that one couple of years ago. It was a long ass shot, and he ducked it, but
Yeah.
it was in the field.
Yeah.
That was a big deer too.
Yeah, that was a big deer. It was long.
I was 69 yards. Let me throw that out there to airmail.
Yeah.
Which is expected.
Yeah, but he did. Did he duck or
He
anything?
ducked. Yeah, he ducked. Not terrible.
lot. And you expect that. I mean-
should have bottomed it out. I drew back and I said I should put this pin down there, and then I didn't, and I shot, and
Yep.
everything that should have happened.
Yeah.
So that's just how it goes.
Well, live and learn, man. Live and learn.
It's one of those things, the seasons, things happen. Like I was filming Gibson 2 nights ago, back at the farm at our property up north, and there's 10 point. He's a 140-inch deer. I had him on camera. I just checked it the day before. I'm like, oh, he's here regularly. We doubled a spot. We had a stand I put in there years ago. I doubled it, and we're sitting there. I said, we are looking for this buck. Like an hour before dark, whoop, he jumps out of the food plot, out of the swamp, and I look, and it looks like someone's holding a mount. Like he's looking like this big. I mean, he's a big deer.
Yeah.
He's right there, and I'm like, Gib, here he is. I mean, he's literally. I expected him to come here and just work his way right through to us, and there were does getting chased over up to the other side, about 200 yards to our north. And I think he saw that, but Gib grabbed his bow, and he did. This is the things you learn about. He had his glove on and he put his release on, but it was so goddamn tight. Like you always kind of got to work it down and get where my trigger finger is. He just put it on and he went like, whoop, and he couldn't even reach his trigger. So he's putting a little tension on it, and it goes, and he hit the trigger, it goes, ping. He did a Rich Schultz.
Old Uncle Rich.
That's
He
Uncle
did a
Rich.
Rich.
And
It went,
did he wave?
and he's like,
Rich did?
I heard him go, oh, like, oh God.
Yeah. Oh no.
Buck never heard it. It didn't screw us, but I was starting to film the buck, just going to film him, and then so I ended up. This is what we talked about. You're as a as a dad, and getting the footage wasn't number one. Like I grabbed his bow and I'm holding his bow, watching this buck walk across the food plot at 100 yards, thinking I'd really like to fucking get footage of that. So I'm holding his bow and he's reaching around, getting another arrow and puts it on, and he puts the arrow on, and by that time I'm like, yeah, he went over to that other side. So we didn't get footage of him, but that buck, I don't know why. Usually I don't get shook, but I put him in my binos. And I was like, oh my God, like he is super impressive. He comes out real wide and tall, and it might not even have been. I looked at him so quick. It might not even have been the one we looked at.
The 10 you were expecting.
No, this is a dude. His neck was this big around. And so I'm doing all this, and I'm going, hey. I'm like, why am I shaking? Like, I usually don't get like that. And I don't know if it was just because we're in our home ground and we saw a buck like that I didn't expect. Like, he was the equivalent of seeing like a 170-inch buck in Ohio.
In Ohio,
Like, he was a stud. And we've just got him kind of figured out. Like, I feel like if we hunted this one area for a week, we'd kill him.
For some of us, the hunt never stops. Grizzly understands that more than most. Rugged, reliable, and built to never back down. Whether you're on the trail, by the water, or deep in the dark timber, Grizzly is by your side. Tough enough to take on the wild and ready for whatever you can throw. Grizzly is committed to products that never let you down. Always on the hunt with Grizzly.
Out here in the wild, precision isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Leupold Optics is built on the foundation of American craftsmanship, where every features function first. For over a century now, they've combined dedication and technology with a relentless put-it-to-the-test attitude, creating optics that stand up when everything else stands down. When it matters most, you need the best. That's what you get with Leupold Optics. While other companies out there warranty failure, Leupold guarantees performance for life. You've got things that matter. Memories, heirlooms, documents, firearms. And we all know that life is unpredictable. At Winchester Safes, they make sure life's unpredictable moments don't take those things from you. They use state-of-the-art methods that refuse to sacrifice quality. They put everything they have into their products, offering proven protection and peace of mind. There's only one safe company worthy of the title, the American Legend, and that's Winchester Safes. Follow at Winchester Safes or learn more on winchestersafes.com. When you're miles from help, second chances don't exist. That's why we shoot Rage broadheads. Massive cutting diameter, field point accuracy, and devastating results when it matters most. Hunt with Rage.
Well, the shit you learn, right? I think to the glove thing. So there's one guy, obviously, we've hunted with him forever, Chad, down in Iowa, who is the luckiest son of a bitch. So I'll never forget, he killed 172 or 74 inch 9-point. I mean, this deer was an absolute slammer. They were cutting the field. He went and threw a ladder stand up quickly into this cedar tree. And it was much like the PBR stand when the wind blows. Like you feel like you're riding the back of a bull.
Yeah.
Because the top of the cedar tree. I actually took a picture one time. The water bottle I had in my backpack was thicker than the tree at 16 feet. So as you can imagine, she's pretty whippy. But he went out and it was windy as hell that day. This deer came out of where they were cutting corn, comes running up through the cedars up this terrace, and he stops at like 25 yards. And Chad knocks an arrow, sends the arrow, misses him clean, 100%. The deer kind of like, he drops and he's like, holy shit, I heard something. What was that? Kind of freaks out.
Yep.
And he's looking around. Chad's pissed because he says he missed because he had his glove on and a shooting hand. So he reaches up and he takes his glove off. The wind rips the glove out of his hand. The glove falls down in the ground. The deer looks at the glove and comes closer to him and comes to like 12 yards. He knocks another arrow, takes his other glove off, and shoots him at 12 yards. in a ladder stand basically in the wide open.
That was just put in there.
It was just hung there.
So
yeah. I'm like, when he called, he's like, I got this deer. I'm like, he's telling me the story because I was there. He's telling me the whole story. And I'm like, what? Like, if that was me, that deer would have been, he'd have been in Missouri.
He'd never showed up. It was me. I'd never seen him. It would have been like, what 9 point? I never saw him.
And I keep saying every year, I want to be on the receiving end of that. Like, I want to be one of those guys that sits down and looks up and just goes, oh my God, there he is. Here he comes. Look at that.
This could be the year.
Maybe we talked about it when we were on Dropped. It was like, I want to be that guy that floats around, and next thing you know, he's standing there, and fun things happened this year. So maybe it's the same thing with deer. It's like, I want to be that guy, you know.
Just once. Like, I just want that one time. Or like the little kid that kills like a 220. He goes and gets in the blind and gun season. He looks up and he's like, there's a good buck. Pow. It's like a state record.
Well, I mean, you think about a lot of those deer. Megatron, days on stand for him.
Weeks.
Strong arm. It was a strategy session, and we got to do this. I mean, there's rarely a time that I can think of that, you know, you have a majestic lion. You haven't put like a lot of time in to kill a deer, but you guys both are. But you're very specific. When you find a deer you want to kill, you put that time in. And for me, I want to shoot a mature deer. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm not as picky. So I don't know. I think,
but you go in and you have this innate ability to like you'll sit in Jagger and the buck will walk by your stand and make
every year.
I don't have those encounters. I'm hunting a deer, so I'm literally like, when I got Rip and Sneaky Junior, all these different deer, I'm like trying to like close in on him. Where's he at? Like, you'll go sit in a stand and he'll just walk by, make a scrape, and you're like, got him, jumbo, boom. And it's like, I just don't have that. I haven't had that yet where I'm like, I had an encounter with it. I'm like hunting that deer and then I end up killing that deer. But it's like, even at that, it's some wacky thing that happens. Like, he walked out here or he came over, you know, I just haven't had that sit where I'm sitting there and I look up and 170-inch deer is walking right at, like, it just doesn't, I've not had that.
Ribcage would be the closest thing I've ever actually had to that. Ribcage had absolutely no idea that deer even existed. Now, check the camera after I killed him because I hadn't checked it yet, and he was on that camera. But that was I mean, that kind of ties everything we've been talking about together. That was a get in the stand. I just killed that 163 in Iowa. The quick tickle, went down to Kansas, rattled.
That's what she said.
And it was a full blind rattle. And when I rattled, this doe popped out, and then he stepped out behind her, and I was like, oh my God, what is that? And he was way more interested in her than the rattle. And then I hit the antlers again, and for whatever reason, and I think I know why, the doe, ran on a rope all the way to literally to the base of the tree that I was sitting in, and stood 5 feet from the trail camera at the base of the tree. And I think she was trying to get him over there to like get him distracted. And if she got him distracted, she was going to bail. Otherwise, I'm like, why? Like, she ran. And then it took him 40 minutes to come that same distance. And that was like totally random, just off the cuff, hit the antlers, and what the hell is that thing? You know?
I still remember editing that episode back in the BCQ days.
Oh God, that deer's big.
But Chris, you do say that that it doesn't happen, but it happened on Rip last year for you.
It did happen.
I mean,
I guess with a gun.
Round 1 and round 2.
Round 1 and 2. 2 I predicted. 1 I did not.
That was I
crazy.
can't wait to put that story together because it was a chase for Rip. And you saw him once and you didn't get footage of him because you were hunting by yourself, self-filming. And then we all came down. But, you know, you hunted him for a week, and then you and I hunted him again for a week, late bow. And then gun season, and we'll show. Well, this story will come out very soon, but it was one of those hunches that we had. We both had. And it was the Jagger area where we need to get a tree stand at some point here in the next week. But
it was
we sit.
It was it, and it was like it unfolded, and of course, Yeah, again, not easy. The sun gets me again.
You're going to wear a brimmed hat this year.
I did not have a brimmed hat on. I did not.
Going to wear a welder's helmet.
Do you guys remember the deer in Missouri?
Coming from the south.
We were hunting with Steven in Missouri, that one that I absolutely almost threw my gun out of the blind because I was blinded.
Oh, yeah.
I was sitting up in the turn-up plot, and that big-ass buck walked out, and I put my scope up, and I couldn't see that deer to save my life, and I wanted to bend the barrel of that gun around the stand. I was so pissed off that I couldn't even see him.
Yeah.
It was the same situation when I turned and swung the gun and I looked and I'm like, Jay, I have no idea. He's like, he's right there. I'm like, I got nothing. It was like staring into that light right there.
It was, we won't get too deep into this, but we got to talk. I mean, this story is so cool. Like we hunted the trifecta, you know, the blind that morning. And the whole plan was, when the field's empty,
let's go over there.
Let's go over to
let's leave
Burlap
Rip alone.
Rock.
Let's leave Rip alone because he's going to come here tonight, and let's go there.
Let's go sit over there on Burlap Rock and overlook this massive gully.
Because he won't be there.
No,
that was literally.
If there's anywhere he won't be.
I'm just going to go over here because I don't want to go in the woods and mess him up.
So we snuck in that corner and we sit on the Burlap Rock, and it's a cool setup. Like it's these notched giant, you know, rocks that have moss on them, and you're comfortable. You're sitting there. It's like terraced down, and we're sitting there, and it's cold as hell. It's 20 degrees.
Freezing.
The sun's just starting to come up, and it's getting pretty bright. And you're down a little bit for me, and I'm a little up. And I just get the tripod set, and I'm getting some shots, getting all the things. And I look to the right, and I see movement like a doe. And to the right, I just see the splits. I'm like, it's freaking Rip at 50 yards. Like, what? And so it was great. I mean, we spin and you take it from there.
Oh my God. When I spun, I could see them in the binos because I could control like how the binos like would flash into the sun. I mean, it was coming up right at the same level as me and Rip. And then I lost him, but you're above me. So it was like, he's right there. And I'm like, I got nothing. I was literally about 5-6 feet below. That
play the right there game. He's right there. Where?
That change in elevation for you, he's perfect. For me, it's the tip of his antlers, like just that little bit. And so then I maneuvered around and then I'm like, okay. And then I got on an opening and I was like, you're going to have to tell me like if that's him and he's in. We talked about the opening and everything else. That's the opening I'm in, and I was just holding crosshairs because that's the only place that wasn't blind. And he's like, you're like, that. And then you went, and now, and the deer walked into my scope. I didn't even see antlers. I was like, that's him. And you go, yep. And I go, boom. Wow. The rest is history.
It's
after
crazy.
that, because then the story unfolds, and trust me, we did not find blood. It turns into a whole situation, but that was then predicting that evening, and it's an amazing story, and it just, that's again,
can't wait to put the chase together. But that is the single best whitetail footage I've ever had.
I can still replay that in my
smoke in his giant frame, and I'm like, oh my God.
In the woods, ground level.
On the
ground. When we have them, we're all at ground level. We're not up in a tree. We're not in a blind. This is like in the woods, ground level, him doing it. And that doe moved for 3 feet. He moved 3 feet. That's what he was. Crazy, and I realized that, like, after we watched the footage, I'm like, I didn't even see the doe. I had no idea what was going on.
And this is first week of December. So don't ever think that it's over. When these mature bucks, these freaking dominant bucks, like they breed until they can't breed anymore, until there's a doe not to be bred. And he found her, and she was somehow within 50 on our whole property. But that is that little corner that they love. They cross right on the inside of that, and right by our mineral there.
When you said, do you remember the one? I don't know why. Maybe it's because we were talking about airmail. But my mind went to that doe in Illinois. Where you had the muzzleloader. And what did you say? You were like, night or something like that.
I said, I think I did.
I can't remember what the hell. Something like that. You got ready. You're like, see you later or whatever.
I go, it was something like that. I was like, all right, here we go. You ready? Yep. Night. And she just looked, smoke cleared, and the doe was looking at me. And I was like, I think I go, or not.
I don't know why, but when you said you guys remember that one, that's the one that popped into my head. Because it was the same.
Oh, no, I
before.
said, thanks for coming.
That's what it was.
Thanks
for coming.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming.
That's what it was. I looked up at her and I go, thanks for coming. Boom. And then the smoke cleared and the doe was staring at me and I go, or not. And that was just, and that was done.
Those
'Cause it
damn
was a
muzzle
one-shot.
loaders.
That has to go.
Never can trust them.
That has to go in the Airmail episode.
Yeah, it does.
Because it was so funny. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Oh,
yeah, no,
man.
I was a little cocky on that one, but yeah, that missed that one. So
Unreal.
that's funny, man. That's good.
Well, let's not end on the. Let's not think about that.
Yeah.
We've got 3
Good
weeks
thoughts.
here
Yep.
Yeah, we do.
It's gonna be fun.
to get out there and just have fun, man.
Yep.
That's the key. Go out there and have fun.
Setting up
See some deer.
Deadwood, getting into it, time to go, and then we're going live from the field from here on out. So, and we may be a little bit more publishing here just based on what the Rut's doing and what we're doing, and so it's going to be game on. So,
And then also for people, remember, if you got Rut Reports, jump over into the app. Give us the Rut Reports, what's going on in your area, what you're seeing, what you got going on, boots on the ground. So
yes,
trying to
for
help as
sure.
many people out as we possibly can, knowing what's actually happening. Because, it happens in pockets for a while. And
Yep.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it
So
kicks
join
off.
the community, put the Rut in there. Let's all talk about what's going on. It's going to be a good little November here. The push is on, and we're back. We're healed. We're fed from dropped, and now it's switch to whitetail. Let's go. Game on.
Can't wait, man. Sweet November.
It's here.
It's here.
Mama say it's some new day song.
Seeing your arrow vanish in the dark is pure adrenaline. Nocturnal makes it clear. Bright, tough, and dead simple to use. Low light or last light. Track your shot all the way through. Shoot Nocturnal.
Some call it out on the trail. I like to call it the road less traveled. The kind of place where the going gets tough. That's where Tracker Off-Road comes in. Made for those who won't back down. Tracker Off-Road delivers the hardest working machines with the greatest capability at the strongest value in the industry. Built by those who know what it takes and designed for those who don't turn back. Tracker is dedicated to delivering machines that let you get the most out of your day and your dollar. Ready to take on your next adventure? Go with Tracker Off-Road.